Hello, welcome to What the Flip. I'm your host, Victor Vogel. It's a podcast that covers the ridiculous, but today we're not going to talk about the ridiculous. We're talking about reality and serious reality. There are a lot of people who are struggling right now with Donald Trump as our president, and their primary issue is his sort of overbearing dictatorial control of things. In fact, some people have gone as far as to say that Donald Trump has destroyed the Republican Party. He's turned it into a cult. So the question becomes, and I'm hearing this more and more, the question becomes, has Donald Trump turned the Republican Party into a cult? Something that is known as Trumpism today. Watch this.
Democratic caucuses in Iowa, the Republican side was much more clear. President Trump cruised to victory with 97% of the vote. Joining me now is former Republican Congressman and presidential candidate Joe Walsh. You saw there received about 1% of the vote in Iowa. Congressman, always a pleasure to see you. Thank you for joining us. You have something to say this morning.
Yeah, John, good to be with you. I am ending my candidacy for president of the United States. Look, I got into this because I thought it was really important that there was a Republican out there every day calling out this president for how unfit he is. I want to stop Trump. I believe he's a threat to this country. He can't be stopped within the Republican Party. Nobody can beat him. It's Trump's party, John. It's not a party. It's a cult. He can't be beat in the Republican primary, so there's no reason for me or any candidate really to be in there. The party has become a cult.
You thought there was some kind of an opportunity where you could convince Republicans in these states. What changed?
I didn't see how cult-like the party was. I mean, 10 states around the country canceled their primaries and caucuses. The state parties are beholden to Trump. The conservative media world, Fox News and all the rest, wouldn't give me the time of day. I'm a Republican candidate for Congress, for president, but they bow down in front of their king. And then out there every day, John, talking to Republican voters, I just became convinced that these folks have been fed nothing but lies and mistruths about President Trump, and they can't be gotten back.
You can see from this video, there are people who are prominent people in the Republican Party, of which I used to be and decided to get out the minute Trump was elected. I could foreshadow and foresee what was going on with him because I've seen it in a lot of people before. So the question is, something caused Joe to feel uncomfortable with Trump, to call what he is seeing a cult-like environment. So what does that mean? What does that mean? And we're going to turn to some work by Joe Navarro, an ex-FBI behavioral specialist, a profiler, who studied dangerous personalities. And he has some books out on this, and he does speaking all over the world on this. And these are behaviors of people who are dangerous. And one of the things that he saw and wrote in an article, I think as far back as maybe 2012, 2014, somewhere in that range when his book came out, he put together a list of things that you should look out for to identify dangerous people. He went as far as to say, if you see a lot of these behaviors, you need to run from this person. You need to get away from them. So what I did is I took that list of 50 things that he listed in an article back in 2012, where he was actually talking about dangerous people being cult leaders. And he said cult leaders have a common characteristic, and that is a characteristic of narcissism. They were pathological narcissists, and nearly all of them were. And so this is a common trait they had. And he was pointing this out in this article, but he developed a list of about 50 things that anybody could look at and determine whether a person was possibly dangerous. So what I did is I took that list and I put it into a format. There's a link down there where you can actually go click on and take this uh, assessment to determine for yourself whether Donald Trump has characteristics of a cult leader, something that might make him a dangerous cult leader. And this is a large cult because he has a powerful position and a large megaphone to send out his message each and every day through social media, through media in general. So consequently, I thought it'd be nice if you had the ability. There's all kinds of information out there on interviews, on tweets, video of rallies he's done. A lot of stuff that you can actually look at after you go through and study this list a little bit. And then watch these if you've not already watched so many of them that you're familiar with and can just answer the question or the statement. But it gives you an opportunity to identify whether you see this behavior in Donald Trump or not. Now, I can tell you this, it requires intellectual honesty, which means you have to separate yourself from both a democratic hatred of Donald Trump and a pro Trumpism supporter, which we would call the ever Trumpers or the Trump supporters. These are the people who are not going to believe anything you say about Trump, most likely would not even think about looking at this assessment. I actually took this assessment 3 times or so to give you an idea of what the assessment looks like, but also sort of what you're going to see when you get done with the assessment. Understand this isn't designed, I didn't put this together to be a statistical validation of anything. I put it together as Joe did in his book for you to read through and see and identify with a statement like this first statement down here is preoccupied with fantasies of unlimited success, power, and brilliance. So the question becomes, from all you've seen about Trump, do you think that is a true statement about him? Is it yes, no, or are you a little uncertain about it? So when you get done looking through these, you can kind of see as we go down. Let me see if I can go to the next one here. Okay, I've got them as required. So I would say yes personally on Trump on this. So then what happens when you hit next, you'll go down and take answer some of all the rest. I'll give you a quick sample of some of the others. Here's another one: requires excessive admiration from followers and outsiders. Uh, has a sense of entitlement, expecting to be treated special at all times. Is that you could see why this might be if you believe this is a yes, like I do, you could see how uh, this would be appealing or attractive to Trump because of the title he has. Right now he's basically saying, I can do anything I want to do as president of the United States, even, like he said, commit murder on Fifth Avenue, and they couldn't try him for it. And right now, that's pretty much how it's working out if the Congress were continued to operate the way they're operating. But his arrogant, haughty, and his behavior, attitude, and we can go down. There's some that are probably not Trump. Takes sexual advantage of members of his sector cult. I don't know that he does that now. I think it's a little different what he was doing about adultery with Stormy, but sex is required with adults and children. I don't. I would say no. Basically, I'd answer that question no on Donald Trump. I don't think that's in his purview. Although he did hang around with Jeffrey Epstein, but I'm not. I don't read that in him. I don't see anything he's saying or doing relates to that. You can come down all the way. There are about 50 of these. So anyone who criticizes him, question is called an enemy. There you go. Who questions the most? The press. And what's he called? The press? They're the enemy of the state. So when you get done with this form, you'll go down here at the bottom of it, and it won't allow me to do it because I haven't answered all the required questions. And it'll say submit. Okay. But I went ahead and took these. So let me come over here. Here's what you'll get back. You'll get an opportunity when you submit. It'll say, take a look at what you've said and take a look at what other preferences have said. So in this case, we have this is an example of three responses, and is preoccupied with fantasies of unlimited success or power or brilliance. You can see that out of all the people who took this particular assessment, and this will be an ongoing group, it's a new assessment now, but an ongoing group. So as many people take it, if it's none, then we won't have any. If there's 1,000, then we'll have what 1,000 represents on this. Uh, but you'll see that you get two people answered yes, or 66% of the people felt Trump, uh, fit this particular definition of uh, a dangerous person. And these are all dangerous. And keep in mind again, uh, these questions and assessments were designed to identify dangerous people, terrorists, lone shooters, criminals, mob, those kinds of people. These are what FBI agents are trained to look for on a regular basis, either during interrogations or observations or when they're shadowing them or whatever they may be doing. They're looking for these behaviors to see if people tend to have these kinds of behavior. And what he found in his book was, and you get this book, and I'll have a link to his book too, by the way, just quickly, it's an affiliate. In his book, he goes through a lot of rationale as to why he developed these particular topic areas. So you'll get down to something like has a sense of entitlement, expecting to be treated special. And this one, I did these all randomly, but you could see how this might work out. Three people took it. One said yes, one said no, and one said uncertain. So, but you'll get a chance to kind of see not only how you feel, but how you're stacking up against how everybody else feels. So that will pretty much explain what the assessment's about. Like I said, I'll have links to I'll have links to the assessment in the book. Once you can take it on your phone, you can take it anywhere you want to take it. Once you take it, it goes into sort of like a spreadsheet database. It's actually on a Google Drive. And then you'll get the ability to take a look at it. I've had it set so that you can only take it once. I think you can go back and change an answer if you see something that you felt uncomfortable when you answered before. I think you can go back and change that answer except for that. But you can only take it once. Okay. All right. That'll be interesting. I hope you take advantage of this. I'm Victor Vogel. This is What the Flip. You can like my Facebook page, What the Flip, and follow me. And stay tuned for more broadcasts of this podcast, What the Flip. Until then, have a great day.